Hello, good evening everybody. I'm Michael Gazilny. Welcome to our new show, Tough Times. Tough times never last, but tough people do. And thank you once again for allowing me to come into your living room. Love and best wishes to everybody, wherever you're watching in Australia. If you're going through some tough times at the moment, I wish you all the best. And remember that we all get through those tough times eventually. If you've seen the show before, we've changed the name from My Life in Crime to Tough Times, trying to inspire you to get through those difficult hits of life. On tonight's show, Damien Vitali's been kind enough to come on and share his story. Back in 1997, he had a very serious accident on a motorbike. He almost lost his life, and Damien says life gave him a second chance. Thanks, Damien, for coming on, bro.
Thank you.
Very good, mate, very good. So, mate, you're such a happy and fit bloke, but I remember when I first met you, you went through those difficult, tough times back in 1997, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I was very lucky. I had a very bad accident on a motorbike, going down Hotham Streets in Kilda, 10:30 at night on a Tuesday night. And something happened, and I was riding down the road, and I lost concentration or something, ended up going in the back of a car and knocked myself out unconscious. And a lady behind me, who was the only lady on the road, she was about 100 metres away. She didn't want to drive any further because she thought I was dead, and got on the phone to the ambulance and straight away reported me, and the ambulance were there within 30 seconds. They were just around the corner from a job. And they...
and you were knocked out cold, Damien, were you?
Yeah, I was unconscious, and there was blood everywhere. And I was unconscious, and the funny thing about the mind and how it works still baffles me to this day, 13 years later. Apparently, when I was unconscious and they were cutting my new jacket open, apparently the lady said that what she witnessed is I came out of my subconscious for like 2 or 3 seconds, throwing punches at both of these paramedics,
right?
More or less saying, this is a new jacket, don't cut it, it's brand new. And then I was out again.
And you can't even remember that?
I don't remember any of that.
Yeah.
I don't remember it. So.
And Damien, in a coma for about 4 weeks at the Alfred Hospital, wasn't it?
For about approximately 2 weeks.
2 weeks,
in a coma on a life support machine.
Yeah, and everybody, mum and dad, thought, that's it, you're gone?
Mum was the only one. Usually mum's probably the most soft-hearted, weakest one.
Yeah.
She was the only one that believed in me. The rest of my immediate family had their doubts, because when they walked into that hospital room the first time, they saw wires and tubes everywhere, all over my body. And of course, they had their doubts. So, but came good for me. I was very lucky, and I'm lucky to be here to tell the story.
And what happened there? You just woke up one day after a couple of weeks, and how did you feel? Who did you hear?
When I believe God said, look, I'll give you another chance. Time to wake up, out of your coma. And what happened was, as soon as I woke up, very, very drowsy, very dizzy, very blurry vision. I remember seeing my family and some of my relatives around me, and I was in denial. Some of my best mates were there, and apparently my mind, I was in such denial that I told everybody that I wasn't in an accident. Yeah. I told them that I had a bad fight or something like that. I was in total denial. So the mind is very powerful, but also very strange. I didn't know what I was saying.
How did it change you, Damien, after the accident? I mean, did it change you? I mean, you look very fit, because you did karate for quite some time before that, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right.
You were like a 7th Dan or something, or 4th Dan?
Yeah, it was actually 3rd Dan.
How long did you train for?
All the way up until my accident.
Yeah.
My family didn't know, but I trained for many years because I loved it. Mum was frightened that every time I would go to training, she thought I'd cop it in the head or something, so I never told my immediate family that I kept going to karate secretly, because they were all worried that if I went to karate, I might end up like my cousin Damien, who copped a kick to the head once, and he ended up knocked out. And they thought that would happen to me, so I kept the karate hush-hush.
Yes.
But it changed me in many ways, and firstly you learn to appreciate life. You really do. When you're alone, when you've got time alone, you reflect on what happened.
Yes.
And you say, gee, you know, not only am I lucky that I've been given a second chance, but I'm also lucky because I was fit and strong enough, and my strong will to survive, to get through to the other end. So yeah, I'm very grateful, and I do appreciate what I eat, people around me. Before then, you take life for granted.
Yes.
Before my accident, I took life for granted. I didn't.
That's exactly right, viewers, isn't it? People take life for granted. They think it's going to last forever and that it's going to go around in circles. But the real fact is we're born and then we die at some stage, and we never know when it's going to be, whether it's next year, and 5 years or 10 years. So we really have to enjoy every day and make the most of every day, don't we? We really have to live for the moment rather than getting too much stuck in the past. Or thinking too much about the future, because a lot of people have problems being really centred, don't they?
They do.
Do you find that?
Yeah, I do believe that. Yeah.
Has your mind changed at all, Damien, since the accident?
Yeah, my mind has. Yeah.
Forgetful or anything like that?
My long-term memory is fantastic. My short-term memory, for example, if you ask me what did I do yesterday or the day before, I'll need about a few seconds, maybe 10 seconds, to remember where I was, what I was doing. Because whereas before my accident, there was no problem with my short-term memory. But besides that, the dizziness, all the headaches, has all gone away.
Wonderful. It's amazing how the body repairs itself, isn't it? And Damien, how long in hospital recovery?
I was 17 days by memory in a coma, and then straight from the Alfred, I went to the Victorian Rehab Centre in Springvale Road, Glen Waverley.
Yes.
And I spent 4 months as an inpatient there, full time.
4 months.
I wasn't allowed. That was my home for 4 months.
A lot of people who go through these sort of traumatic experiences end up going through depression and stress and mood swings. You must have gone through a bit of a down there for a period of time.
My 4 months in that rehab centre, I learnt more than you could probably learn in 5 years. What I saw and what I heard, and there were people in there in wheelchairs. There were limbs being held together by plates, screws, bolts, and I thought, gee, I hurt my knee, but from my neck down, I didn't hurt myself in the accident. I had a brain injury, and my face was all smashed, fractured. But what I saw in that rehab was amazing.
We might come back after the next break and talk about some of those tough people in rehab. Coming back very shortly. Don't go away. Welcome back to the show. I'm Michael Kazilny, and thank you very much for watching. You may have watched A Life in Crime previously. We did that for about 150 shows. Now the show's changed to Tough Times. All those people in prison, they go through tough times, but I've been around the criminal justice system now for 25 years, the first 10 years in the police force, and then the last 13 or so as a defence lawyer. And every day, viewers, I'm confronted with people who've committed offences because they've gone through some extremely tough times in their lives. But when you look around, everyone goes through tough times, don't they? Whether it's a relationship breakup, whether it's bankruptcy, whether it's an alcohol or a drug addiction. I suppose the people who are positive just get through those tough times a little bit easier, don't they? But if you dissect anybody's life, there's going to be difficult times in everyone's life, isn't there, Damien?
That's correct. Yeah.
And I suppose what we need to do is just to become a lot more spiritually resilient, you know what I mean? Because if we expect to go through life and just go from birth to death with no problems at all, that's when it's a pretty boring life, isn't it? Because I think that tough times make us stronger, don't they?
Well, I don't know anybody that's from birth to death doesn't have any problems.
No.
Whether a minor or major.
And a lot of people, viewers, think that life is supposed to be fair. Everything's supposed to be hunky-dory, but it's not always like that. People do die. People do get cancer. People do have serious car accidents. People do get divorced. So I suppose we just have to work on a way to become a little bit stronger and get through those times. But Damien, grieving is very important, isn't it? I mean, we can't just say we're tough and we're going to get through this. So there's got to be that first the shock of any trauma, and then, of course, it takes time to get back on track, doesn't it?
Sure it does, yeah.
Took you a while.
Well, yeah, straight from rehab, 4 months in rehab, every night I cried myself to sleep because I was in denial that this actually happened to me.
Yeah.
I rode motorbikes for a long time, and I thought I was good. But that was on the track. As soon as you hit the road, it's a different story. So therefore, although I had many years of dirt bike experience, I was rehab every night, and I was just really depressed and crying every night in denial. And I used to say, how on earth did this happen to me? Me of all people, how could this accident happen? I was a good rider, but it does.
It does. It happens all the time. You know, every day every week there's fatal accidents, isn't it?
Yeah.
What advice would you give to some of the people who do ride motorbikes around Australia?
Wow. First of all, it's 2 less wheels. There's no metal around you. It is much more dangerous. If you are going to ride a bike and you're very passionate about riding motorbikes, just be very, very careful. And sometimes it's not even your fault, and you can be on the ground. But just be very, very careful. Try and have your eyes all over the road at all times. Be as alert as you can, because motorbikes are much more dangerous. I will never get back on one.
You were saying, Damien, before the accident, your personality changes. You're saying you're a lot more down to earth and authentic now. Can you notice now when you walk into the world, there's a lot of egos out there?
There's a lot of ego, a lot of pretentious, a lot of insecure people, a lot of materialism. My accident has taught me just to keep my feet on the ground. God did give me a second chance at life, and I'm here to live it and not try to be someone else.
Isn't that amazing, viewers? That's exactly right, trying to be someone else. You know, I've been to Bali, I think, about 32 times. We're going again in 2 weeks' time, and it's amazing how the Eastern society are so spiritual and love-orientated. And when we come back to Western society, we see a lot of ego. It seems to be very, very much material-based. Our success seems to be very much how much money we've got in the hip pocket. And, you know, when you go to parties in Brighton or Toorak or Kew, you go to these cocktail parties, and the first thing people want to know is, after your name, what do you do for a job, how much do you earn, to see whether you might be in the same category and whether you might be good enough to be their mate. Not all the time, but it is a big issue, I find, especially travelling to the East all the time. The ego should just be shattered and crushed on the ground, shouldn't it?
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. I've been to Bali and Thailand, and their custom and their beliefs and their religion and everything is so different to, I believe Melbourne and Sydney are more pretentious than maybe some other parts of Australia. It's almost like we're trying to keep up with the next door neighbours or the Joneses.
And it's not everybody, viewers, it's not everybody, but I went to the Melbourne Magistrates Court the other day and I was just looking around and everybody's grumpy and no one's greeting each other. Wouldn't it be lovely to be just a lot more love-orientated, greet people, like my friend Henry Nissen, he's a social worker for the last 35 years. Love and best wishes, he says, to every person on the phone, to everybody on the street. What a great attitude. You know, if we can work on that attitude just to be a little bit more friendly to others, try smiling a bit more, it won't break your face. You know, it's amazing what a smile can do. You know, it can really cheer somebody's up because there's so many people out there suffering from depression. I mean, depression's a big thing, isn't it?
Depression is much bigger than we all think.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't even voice it, but until they actually get help, depression is a major concern for the society all around. I
get down sometimes when I haven't had enough sleep, or I've had too much grog or something, you know, or something's really tough happening in my life. And I really need to break out of it because it's a really feel-good universe. You've got to make yourself feel good, because I really believe that if you're feeling down about yourself and negative, that you actually activate a negative world. Do you find that?
Yeah, I do.
You know?
Even if I'm feeling down or I haven't had enough sleep or something's getting me down, I always try and turn it into a positive, no matter what. And I know that as soon as I start thinking of happy things and maybe something, a holiday to come up or something, it brings me, it lifts me right up. And my work is better and I'm in a better mood, and when I see people, I'm smiling and I'm talking to them because I think of the positive things in my life.
Good on you, mate.
And I try to get rid of that negative stuff. You know?
Now, we had a beer the other day, mate. You only had one because you look after the temple so well, but you're looking fit.
Thank you.
And you're training hard and your work's good. Tell me about your work. You've got a passion for that, haven't you?
Yeah, ever since a young boy, I always liked putting things together with my hands, whether it was Lego blocks, and it used to fascinate me how even with Lego blocks, you could put things together and create something, whether it was a building or anything, and then I started as a carpenter.
Good, and you do a great job. You're doing buildings all over the place, and
yeah, I love it.
You're multi-skilled.
Well, I love it. I actually do other trades too. You know, I can do some plastering and tiling, and I love painting. Painting relaxes me, actually.
Yeah.
But I'm a carpenter by qualification, and I'm also a registered builder.
Fantastic. So, and at night time, you We'll talk about your training and some tips to the younger people after the next break. Tough times never last, but tough people do. Here's an example, Damien Vitali. He'll give you some tips how he rebuilt his life after that almost fatal accident in 1997. See you soon. Welcome back to the show, and thank you once again for the pleasure of your company. You're going through a tough time tonight? Well, tomorrow will be a better day, I promise. You know, we all go through these difficult times. It seems like life is like a battlefield sometimes, doesn't it? The hits keep on coming, and I really find through talking to clients who have to go to court and who, having worked in the criminal justice system for so long, that the more hits we get, the more sort of people get down, and it's sometimes hard to pick yourself up, isn't it? But keep on trying, keep on seeing every day like a brand new fresh day. Seize the day. My grandfather once said, every morning say to yourself, it's a great day, it's a new day, make it your day. And yeah, just enjoy each day, enjoy all the good things, because it's not going to last forever. How do you keep yourself positive and fit, Damien?
From a young age, I've had a big passion for health and fitness, and I like to keep training. I like to train before work or after work, and when I mean training, it's just about some light weights, a lot of body weight, a lot of push-ups, a lot of chin-ups, a lot of sit-ups, a lot of handstand push-ups on my head, all the hard exercises that people say, no, I can't do that. They've already given up.
Some of those viewers might say he's crazy, he goes a bit overboard.
Yeah, well, my dad says I go overboard, but I actually love the pain.
Yeah.
I've learned to accept the pain barrier, and the more it hurts, the more I go. I love it.
I remember with Bob Jones years ago when I was young, he made us do the push-ups on the fists, and then if you couldn't do your 50 push-ups, he'd call you a girl and give you a good kick up the bum.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's an amazing thing, and I wish I kept it up, but martial arts for young people is great, isn't it?
Yeah, look, you know, whether it's martial arts,
or
Michael,
boxing.
Whether it's martial arts or boxing or any type of self-defense, or even if it's your own type of training that you do, you've got to take it serious. You've got to be dedicated, or you're not going to last the distance, especially if you're training at home like I do.
And that's a good point, Damien, saying not only about work but also about life. Whatever you do in life, especially for some of the younger viewers watching around Australia, there's a good saying, find your passion and make it into your profession. Find your passion and turn it into your profession, then you don't have to work another day in your life, you know. But I always find the people who really come to the great stations in life, whatever they do, whether they're professionals, whether they're builders, whether they're painters, there's always these class act people, but they always have one thing in common. They're enthusiastic, and they always tend to go the extra mile, you know. Always go the extra mile, because really in life, I've found out what you put in is what you get back. Your rewards in life will match your service, and that's how simple it is, isn't it? It's all a law of karma, whether we believe in God, in Buddha, or in some higher law. It's that simple, isn't it? If you rip people off, other people are going to rip you off. If you're happy and are kind to people, other people are going to be kind to you. But if you backstab people, there'll be somebody else out there backstabbing you. It's all a boomerang. That's what it is, isn't it? It's all our actions and thoughts are boomerangs. They come back and
I believe in that.
Bite you on the bum, don't they?
I believe in karma.
Yeah.
You know, I do believe in karma.
That's what I understand when people try to rip you off, you know, financially, or car salespeople, or in business, and they might get that extra gain for that short period of time, or the backstabbers might get that little bit of ego and feel comfortable about themselves, but unfortunately it all comes back.
Comes back to you.
It comes back, doesn't it?
Comes back to bite you. Yeah, believe in that, because it's very, very true. Yeah, the people who don't think it won't come back to bite them, they're the ones it happens to the most.
Yeah,
it will come back to bite you one day. Somehow, it'll come back at you.
And I'm sure a lot of the viewers have noticed that you've sort of done something wrong, and something else has happened, and you sort of think, is that a karmic effect? because that's what happens, isn't it? Whatever we sort of pump out there into the universe comes back. That's why so many people believe in the law of giving. You find all the wealthy people who give to charity all the time, they seem to get an overflow of abundance coming back. It's amazing how it all works, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I believe.
But
that.
I've never seen a crook who's gone up the top of success ladder, had $10 million in the bank, and ended up a happy person. They either die of cancer or suffer from deep depression, don't they?
Big time depression.
Do you find that?
Yeah, I do.
You never find a crook who's been bad to other people, who's ends out on top.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah. Look, what I reckon is that you give good and you'll get it back.
Yeah.
And I always stand by that. It's like
well,
my training.
you've been so good because you've helped all those young fellas in karate when you're younger. You told me that, and for a while there, you didn't have a steady relationship, but you met a lovely lady, and and you're going to get married soon.
Yeah, I'm very lucky.
Exciting.
I met a lovely woman, and we've been together 6 years.
Yeah.
We got engaged late February of this year, and we're getting married in December.
Fantastic.
So I'm blessed to have known her. And
can I come to the wedding?
Oh, you're more than welcome. You're invited. You're both yourself and Elite both invited.
Oh, that'll be lovely, mate.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how you met. It just happened to be at the right place at the right time, didn't it?
She's been very good to me,
and she knows all about the past and the accident, and
very understanding. Her past wasn't, her upbringing maybe wasn't as gloomy as maybe some others, and it's made her stronger and more positive.
Yes,
and we feed off each other.
That's lovely.
And I look at that and I think, gee, you get some people who have been silver spoon-fed all their life, all the money in the world, and they still get on the drugs and they still take the wrong path. Whereas my woman, she didn't have it maybe as lucky as myself, and yet she's come out really good and more positive. She could have gone down the wrong road. Her parents broke up when she was very young.
Damien, it's been a pleasure listening to your story and how you've really turned your life around. And you're enjoying life, and that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, I do love life, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We'll have you on again. Thank you very much for the pleasure of your company. And if you're feeling down a bit, I'm sure tomorrow will be a new day. Love and best wishes to everybody. If you've got an interesting story to share, please give me an email. All the very best. See you next week.